I bet you've already found yourself thinking about how Satan came to be, what happened for God to expel several angels from heaven, or even who the Nephilims are, the race that has taken over the internet in recent months. Here I will tell you the little explained truth about all these topics, based on the most important book in history, the Bible, which will leave you in shock. I'll tell you all the details of this video, just check if you've already written so you don't miss any of the developments in this story. Imagine that we are exploring an epic story in the universe, where defiant angels transform into demons after a rebellion led by the bold Lucifer, the morning star. They fall from the heavens like fallen comets, carrying shadows in their essence, a mixture of the divine and the profane. These demons, a result of a unique alchemy, represent the struggle between the sacred and the renegade. Now, let's talk about the origin of these demons, and to understand better, it's like we're reading a special part of an important book called the Bible. This book tells the story of God and teaches us to follow Him more closely. Let's start by getting to know the leader of this rebellion, Lucifer. The name Lucifer has Latin roots, being a combination of lux, meaning light, and pharaoh, meaning to bear or bring. Therefore, Lucifer can be translated as lightbringer or morning star. You can find the mention of Lucifer in the book of Isaiah, chapter 14, where he is called the son of the morning, who fell from heaven after desiring to ascend above God. In the beautiful garden of God called Eden, you were adorned with precious stones, sardius, topaz, diamond, beryl, onyx, jasper, sapphire, emerald, carbuncle, and gold. Your attire was crafted with care, and musical instruments were prepared within you when you were created. You were a special cherub, covering the holy mountain of God, walking amidst fiery stones. Your perfection lasted from your creation until the day iniquity was found in you. Due to your excessive trading, violence filled your midst, and you sinned. As a consequence, you will be cast out of the mountain of God and destroyed, O cherub who once covered amidst the fiery stones. Your heart was lifted because of your beauty, corrupting your wisdom with your brightness. You will be cast to the ground, displayed before kings. You defiled your sanctuaries with numerous sins and corrupt dealings. Therefore, a fire will emerge from within you, consuming you to ashes upon the earth, in the sight of all who behold you. It's not just Satan who will face God's judgment, but also those who followed him. A heavenly war unfolded, and Michael, the archangel, cast out Satan and his followers from the clouds to the earth. Despite their fall, these angels maintained their rank under their new authority. Hey there! So, you know how there are these cool groups of angels up in heaven, each with their own special jobs? Well, there's a video that talks all about that, but today I want to chat about something important from a part of the Bible called Ephesians. In Ephesians, it says we've got to be ready for some tricky stuff. It's not just about physical battles with swords, there are also invisible battles with spirits around us. But no worries. We've got this awesome armor of God to protect us from the tricks of the devil. We're not fighting against regular people, but against powerful spirits that try to do naughty things. And get this, not everyone who seems good actually is. Some folks might look like they have God's light, but they're actually hanging out with the bad guys, like Satan and his buddies. These troublemakers want to hurt us, but if we believe in Jesus, we get superpowers. We can stomp on snakes and squash scorpions, metaphorically, of course. Remember that part in the beginning of the Bible, Genesis 3? Adam and Eve messed up, and when they heard God in the garden, they got scared and hid. It's like when you know you did something wrong and try to avoid your parents. So, in that story, it's not just about God walking in the garden, it's also a sneak attack by the bad guys. They chose the time when things were getting a bit chilly, right when the sun was setting. Sneaky, huh? So, that's why we need our spiritual armor, and by believing in Jesus, we're like superheroes who can stand strong against the tricks of the bad guys. Cool, right? Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a world where darkness tried to take over the light. You see, there was this special fruit that was off limits, but someone couldn't resist taking a bite. That made the big boss, God, a bit upset, and he gave out some important rules. Now, this sneaky character named Satan wanted to mess things up. He convinced some angels, who were supposed to keep an eye on humans, to join his team. They even got married to regular people and had some really big and not so nice kids. This all happened way back in the old times, and you can read about it in a book called Enoch. The angels, also known as the Watchers, were not exactly following the boss's orders. They created these giant creatures called Nephilim, and together, they messed up everything: birds, fish, you name it. It was like a big, messy party that wasn't supposed to happen. Because of all this chaos, a flood had to come and clean up the mess. Only one guy named Noah and his family survived on a big boat. Everyone else got washed away, but they didn't go to a fiery place. Instead, they're waiting for their turn on earth to be judged. So, that's the story of how things got a bit wild in the old days, all because some angels didn't play by the rules. If you want to know more, there's a whole video on it, but I can't spill all the details right now. Cool, huh? The evil spirits are out there, wandering the earth in search of someone to possess. This explains the existence of demons, who are fallen angels and their lost offspring. All are spirits without bodies. When you witness someone being freed from possession, the demon often behaves wildly, contorting and acting like an animal, sometimes even mimicking the person's voice. This observation reveals their former appearance. Demons are all hybrids, which clarifies why pagan beliefs honor humanoid images with animal heads, considering them deities due to the knowledge they possess. If you doubt the involvement of angels in the previously explained reason for the biblical flood, consider why the Bible mentions angels being chained for their transgressions, reserved in everlasting chains under darkness until the judgment of the great day. Now, we've talked about fallen angels, but what about scriptural mentions of demons? We can begin with the father of corruption, Satan, attempting to persuade Christ to bow down to him, as described in Matthew, chapter 4. This not only illustrates this example but also emphasizes an important fact about Satan's dominion over humanity. We read in verse 8, again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their splendor. Imagine a story where there are kingdoms ruled by powerful kings, and one day, a tricky character approaches a special person. This character promises to give all the kingdoms and their amazing glory to this person if they just bow down and worship him. The story reveals that this tricky character, who wanted to be worshipped, has helpers in his kingdom who are influenced by his bad powers. That's why he could make such an offer to the special person. This idea is kind of like what we find in a book called Daniel. In that book, a guy named Daniel prayed a lot and really wanted to understand things. Because of his strong connection with a higher power, he was able to break free from the bad influence of a dark kingdom over a place called Persia. It's like he had a friend, a powerful prince named Michael, who helped him. Now, let's talk about another story where there's a king named Ahab. He's thinking about going to war for a city named Ramoth-Gilead. Some prophets tell him it's a good idea, but Ahab wants a second opinion from a prophet named Micah. Ahab doesn't really like Micah because he usually says things that Ahab doesn't want to hear. It's a bit like dealing with someone tricky, right? Imagine this exciting story where a guy named Micah had this incredible encounter with the mighty king. Micah was telling everyone about it, sharing a prophecy he received from the Lord. He described a scene where he saw the Lord sitting on a grand throne, surrounded by all the heavenly beings on his right and left. The Lord had a mission and asked, who can persuade Ahab to go up and face a challenge at Ramoth-Gilead? Various suggestions were tossed around, but then a spirit stepped forward, eager to take on the task. This spirit said, "I'll do it. I'll be a lying spirit in the mouths of all Ahab's prophets." The Lord agreed, telling the spirit to go ahead and do it. So, it turned out that the Lord allowed a deceitful spirit to influence Ahab's prophets. Now, you might wonder, why would the Lord allow such a thing? Well, if we go back in the Old Testament, particularly in the book of Job, we find that even Satan, described as a deceiver, presented himself before the Lord along with the sons of God. These sons of God are like heavenly beings or angels. So, it seems that in the heavenly realm, there's a complex interplay of different beings, even those with not so good intentions. It's like this epic drama unfolding in the presence of the mighty king, and Micah got a front row seat to witness it all. Once upon a time, there were some people hanging out, doing their thing, when God and Satan showed up. God asked Satan where he had been, and Satan replied, "Oh, just wandering around the earth." God then gave Satan permission to test a guy named Job, putting him through some really tough times. But guess what? Job stayed loyal to God, and all of Satan's tricks failed. This whole situation with God and Satan teaches us something important. It shows how God can use even bad things, like lying and other not-so-nice stuff, to make things work out in the end. Now, let's talk about something from a special book called Revelation. Imagine a star falling from the sky, and it gets a key to a super deep pit. When this pit opens, there's a ton of smoke, like from a big furnace, and it makes the sun and the air all dark. Then, out of the smoke come these weird locusts that have the power to hurt people. They look like horses ready for battle, with crowns on their heads, faces like men, hair like women, and teeth like lions. Their wings sound like a bunch of chariots racing, and they even have scorpion tails that can sting. So, both these stories teach us that sometimes things might seem tough or scary, but in the end, God's got a plan to make everything work out okay. Cool, huh? 5 months passed, and during this time, a powerful being ruled over a dark pit. In Hebrew, this being is called Abdon, while in Greek, it is known as Apollyon. This event takes place when the fifth of the seventh seals is about to be opened, signaling the unleashing of God's wrath upon the world. Picture a star falling from the sky to the earth, granting control to a fallen angel over a deep, bottomless pit. Remember, we've heard about angels imprisoned below the earth before, in a place known as the abyss. Could this pit be opening up to that dark realm where the damned await judgment? Think of it like a place where those who rejected the Lord during their lives are waiting to face the consequences. Some of them, like Abaddon, whose name means destruction in Greek, will play a role in this judgment. Now, imagine strange locusts with faces like men and hair like women. Could they be the offspring of fallen angels? Going back to the time of the biblical flood, these creatures and their terror were reserved for the wicked who turned away from the Lord. These are just a few examples of demonic entities mentioned in the Bible. The Bible focuses on the priority of these stories, and while there are many apocryphal books with additional details, we're sticking to the Bible for now. During biblical times, people suffered from demon possession, and even today, some might seek help from psychiatrists. But, here's the catch, addressing mental unwellness as purely a mind issue is like slowing the bleeding of the spirit without ever stopping it. Why does this matter? Well, let's look at the origin of the word psyche. It has Greek roots and originally referred to the soul. The world has led many to believe that mental health is solely about the mind, but in reality, it involves the well-being of the soul. Hey friend. Imagine if the icky stuff bothering us wasn't just in our heads but in our hearts. Yikes. But guess what? You can be like a superhero against the bad things in the world. How? Well, just believe in Jesus, say sorry for mistakes, and really follow him. When you do that, it's like getting a super cool upgrade. Picture this, you put on a special armor like a knight. The truth belt, the righteousness chest plate, the salvation helmet, they're like your superhero gear. Hold up a shield of faith and swing the sword of the Spirit, like a Bible, to stay strong. Talk to Jesus every day, take breaks from things, and let him be your guide. Stick with him, because the easy way might not be the best. Remember, the aim is to get you excited about the Bible. If you like this content and want to receive more videos like this, subscribe to the channel now and activate the notification bell. Don't forget to leave your like so that YouTube can recommend all the videos for you, and if you want to learn more about Bible knowledge, keep watching the recommended videos below here on our channel. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next video. See you soon.